This is the Urban Binge Radio. Sunday Flow.
Ugly that, he like, but of course your partner don't think you do. Of course he ain't gonna tell me that anyway. That was also Bishop Long. I know I already said that in the Inspirational Vitamin segment, part of everything, who everybody was, but oh my God, Bishop Long. I've talked about him so much on this show. He is a great man of God. And I know the last time I talked about him, I might have shocked a lot of people with what I said, saying that I had an issue with him before in the past. And I have. Nobody knows about it but my mother and my partner who was involved. And this was before he died. And I plan on talking to his son about it. One day, I plan on talking to his son about it. I would like to talk to his son about it, but I don't want his son to reject me or feel like I'm telling a lie. I would not lie to him. I would not come to him personally and tell him something about his deceased father without telling the truth and just taking in consideration that is his father and everything that his father has been through in a lot, regarding a lot, you know what I'm saying? So, you can put whatever pieces you want to put together based off what I say, but the situation that happened, it really hurt me, and it really just shocked me. I don't know. It's something that I never really talked about, and I don't know. Nobody's gonna scare me away or nothing. So, yeah. But I love Bishop Long, and it's like I said before. It's like a father. It's like a mother. It's mothers and fathers. Who do their children wrong? They abandon their children. They hurt them in whatever way, and you feel like, well, it is my father. It is my mother. So no matter what, I love them. It's kind of like that situation. So I admire everything that I learned. I admire everything that I was taught, and everything that his teachings. But my issue with him, and our issue that we had, I don't know. I can't explain how it doesn't separate. How am I able to play Bishop Long and hear him and really be blessed by his words and his preachings and teachings still, but I was hurt, or I had an issue with him or by him. I'm not saying that my issue was molestation. I'm not saying that my issue was an argument about anything or money or anything. I don't want to say right now what my issue was, but I had an issue. My partner and I both were involved. And I know that there are many other people, women, men, whoever out there, who have had issues with Bishop Long or with other bishops, and don't come forth and talk about it, don't open up and talk about it for whatever reason, And me, I just want to be able to talk about it in the way I want to open up and talk about it. And so sooner or later I will. Additionally, I wanted to play here all the times that I talked about Bishop Long. So I gathered up a few times that I have talked about Bishop Long on my YouTube channel. Since he was included in the Inspirational Vitamin today, I wanted to put all those times together here for the Sunday Flow Show and let you guys take a look at that here, right here on the Urban Binge on RiBelTV. Take a look. I'm a member of New Birth. I've been a member of New Birth. I think my mama was there in 97 or 98, and we left in probably 2011, 2012 maybe, and 2012. And it was before the whole scandal, I believe. And we heard of it, but we didn't. Bishop hadn't come out and did his speech. They said, "Who I say I am." I'm not who they say I am. Blah blah blah. Throw the rock, throw the stone, whatever.
I've been accused. I'm under attack. I want you to know, as I said earlier, I am not a perfect man, but this thing, I'm gonna fight. And I want you to know one other thing. I feel like David against Goliath, but I got 5 rocks and I haven't thrown one yet.
We weren't at New Birth at that time, But the crazy part is that we watched Bishop build this church. I used to go to New Birth when New Birth was on Snap from the Woods Drive. And we were at Cynthia. Her name is Pastor Cynthia, Bishop Cynthia something. But she's the pastor of the old New Birth. We were over in the gym on New Birth's land while they were building up the sanctuary. We moved into the gym after we moved from Snap from the Woods. We were in the gym for a while. And we moved out of the gym, and Bishop would pop up videos on Sundays stating how much progress New Birth is gaining. We could see it from a distance up on the hill, but we weren't able to walk over there because it was just a big construction going on. And eventually the church was completed, and it was beautiful. I mean, I grew up watching them bring the seats in. I watched trees be over there. Even those apartments weren't there. All of that stuff, Bishop Long helped that area come up. So it's sad to see the way he fell. It was like Goliath. It was like it was felt. It was heard. The way he fell. Not died. The way he fell. When the members started to leave the church. When he began to dial back on coming to church so much. He was having preachers come in and preach for him a lot. Then Bernice King left. Then William Murphy left. Then Darius Wise left. Then Powell left. So many people started leaving the church. And just it was just like a immaculate ball, like a domino effect. Everybody just washed away, and New Birth began to minimize to where on Sundays where it would look like the Georgia Dome packed on a monster truck night, bitch, it was looking like Bible study at a storefront church. Okay, seriously, it was so empty up in New Birth, and that was before the scandal really blew up. It began to die down. So it's kind of sad that the successor now, Edward Long, I love you, and he knows. I know Edward Long personally. I know Taylor Long. I don't know, like, we're not best friends or nothing, but I know them. They know me by name. They know me by face, easily. So anything that I would say about Bishop Long would definitely offend them, because I do have a relationship with him slightly. And Bishop Long was my spiritual father. So I won't say nothing bad about Bishop Long unless I'm telling the truth. So I'm not going to just blatantly say nothing bad about him. I don't like to hear people talk negative of Bishop Long for no reason.
Hey, God gave that motherfucker preacher the right last name, Long. He been long stroking them little boys.
I hate that. Like, it grinds my gears for no reason. Like, I feel like everybody falls. That does not mean that you're not anointed and that you don't love God with all your heart. So it's just sad to see Jamal take over and be the successor of the church and have such scandals the way he had in the past at his other church. Now you move over here to this church that's already recovering with band-aids all over it, and you just come make new wounds. Amen. Amen. So now we got to heal up them wounds while these are already in the process of being healed. And they damn near done. Hello, somebody! Them damn near done. Because they gonna be done wash Bishop Long name away from New Birth. Ain't nobody gonna remember that he was the preacher of New Birth, because all the people that was there gonna die off. Then the little children gonna go up, and ain't nobody gonna hardly know, unless you know history, that Bishop Long created this from the dirt up. Hello, somebody! You know, and it's sad to see now Jamal Bryant there with such a scandal. It's not good. It's not good to have a scandal the way he has. But I mean, at this point, all they can do is just see if the scandal is bad enough to let him go, because from what Larry Reed said, or somebody said that I heard not too long ago, is that in his contract he can't have a scandal at New Birth, in the New Birth contract. So he was selected out of different pastors that were going to be selected. He was the one elected, and now he has scandals like this. So I'm not surprised. I thought that Edward Long, Bishop's son, would be the successor over New Birth, but you know what? Edward Long got enough issues too. And the first thing they're gonna be ready to do is say he just like his daddy. So I think he was upset that he was not left the church, but at the same time, I'm sure now he's grateful, because he would have had to walk a tightrope. You know, he would have had to kind of like really chill. And the way I know Edward, he is a lover of pussy. So he loved pussy so much, he not gonna stop dealing with pussy. Um, he just not. He's not gonna stop dealing with pussy. Okay, to be the pastor of New Birth and to not be fired from New Birth. He's gonna deal with the pussy and try not to get caught up in a scandal. But Edward Long, he loved the booty and he loved the putty, so he ain't going no damn well. I mean, so he ain't trying to be the New Birth, the head of New Birth. I think it was better that somebody else other than a family member did it, because they'll be ready to compare Bishop Long to somebody who's in his family or blood related. But enough said. Anyway, the next song I'm going to play for you guys is Bishop William Murphy out of Atlanta, Georgia. He is the bishop and the pastor, bishop or the pastor of the Dream Center ATL, which is where my mother currently attends church. We actually know Bishop William Murphy from New Birth, so I kind of sort of grew up in New Birth. I know people be like, older people be like, you grew up at New Birth. You know, it's kind of crazy to say you grew up at a mega church when they grew up at little small country roadside churches, you know, little box churches and stuff like that. And then you say you grew up in a mega church, and such a mega church with such great controversy. You know what I'm saying? Bishop Long had a lot of controversy, and I was there slap dead in the middle of it all. And William Murphy was the praise and worship leader for a very long time. And when he would come, I only liked his praise and worship. Him and Darwin Hobbs. When Byron Cage was the praise and worship leader, I used to be like, Anybody else? And Darlene McCoy, she led praise and worship. She sung on the praise and worship team behind Darwin Hobbs and Bishop William Murphy, but she also became a solo singer. And when Bishop William Murphy wasn't there, she would lead praise and worship. She would lead it. So, you know, Darlene can sing though. Darlene McCoy, she can sing. Growing up, I always said, dang, she put me in the mind of Karen Clark Sheard or the Clark Sisters. She really does. But I guess you have to know how to sing with Bishop Long. He was not hiring you on the praise and worship team if you ain't know how to sing a song. You know? So anyway, this is Bishop William Murphy. He was live on Dr. Bobby Jones, live on BET some years ago. This is many years ago. And actually, he's going to feature in this song Tasha Cobbs, who is now Tasha Cobbs Leonard. He's going to say Natasha Cobbs, his background singer. That's where Tasha Cobbs started. Tasha started with William Murphy, singing background with William Murphy once he branched off from New Birth and moved over to Paul S. Morton Church, is where those two connected. And they have like a father-daughter relationship or a big brother, little sister relationship type to me. And I mean, that's what they portray. That's what they say too. But the way she used to sing when she sung with him was as if she meant it. She was broken singing these songs when she sung with Bishop William Murphy, and I just loved her voice then. Her and Nicole Binion, both of their voices were just awesome. Nicole Binion and Tasha Cobbs, they both sung like white girls to me. I don't know if Nicole Binion is even a white or not, but they both sung. Anyway, OMG. Now, I know you guys probably like, oh my God, you always talk about this. Yes, I do. So last week, I know on my episode 1, I had Bishop William Murphy with Tasha Cobbs. I forgot the song that we played last week. And I talked about how Bishop Long, I grew up at New Birth, and I know old people be like, oh my God, you grew up at New Birth? Oh my God, yeah. They grew up at old country town churches, whatever. And I was telling y'all about how Darwin Hobbs was the praise and worship leader and William Murphy was the praise and worship leader, but they were praise and worship leaders at separate times of New Birth's history, and then they were praise and worship leaders at the same time. So we had both of them together at one point, and we had both of them separately at one point, which I love either one of them doing praise and worship. I prefer William Murphy, but when Darwin Hobbs came in, I love Darwin Hobbs' voice as well. So the video that I just played was Darwin Hobbs at the old New Birth. That's New Birth on Snapfinger Woods Drive. I believe that was the name of the street. That was the New Birth before Bishop Long went and built that massive mega church that he built. That was the New Birth that caused him to go build that one, because at that New Birth that Darwin Hobbs is at, it was so packed. We used to be standing up on the wall. We thought the balcony was going to hit the people below us because it was so packed. He ended up having to do 3 services at that church, and just eventually got a donation, got some money, spent his own money, and got that land out there in Lithonia, which no apartments, no Walmart, None of that was out there. That was nothing but grass and trees. And Bishop Long built those apartments, those houses, and made Lithonia into something that it was never. He literally changed a lot of Lithonia, especially Panola Road and that area up there, because that Walmart was built solely because of New Birth's traffic. And a lot of those apartments were built because of New Birth, and it was so many people driving so far from across everywhere trying to come to New Birth that they ended up building these neighborhoods so that people from New Birth could actually move in. And that did happen, but eventually the people started moving out. People moving in, people moving out. Why? Because of the color of the skin. Run, because they're choking high.
An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Vote to me and I'll set you free.
Rap on, sisters, rap on.
And you know what? I wanted to go back. Speaking of Dharma Hobbs and New Birth, I realized that New Birth is really growing its popularity back up again. You know, Bishop Eddie Long died. Jamal Bryant has taken over the church. But it just makes me really feel like, dang, are they going to forget about the man that built this church? The man that built this church is Bishop Eddie Long. Blood, sweat, and tears went into building this church. And he really took pride in this sanctuary, in this building, in this place that he built. So I don't want people going to New Birth and new members and the new generation to ever forget about Bishop Long. And I haven't been there in years since Bishop died, but I hope that they haven't changed his pictures and removed pictures and stuff like that, because that'll be sad. I also thought about First Lady Vanessa Long. I hope people are still checking on her. I hope the deacons and the first ladies and the deacons' wives and the ushers and people like that are still checking on First Lady Vanessa Long to see if she's still doing okay. If you listen to this, Taylor Long, Edward Long, any of you guys, I love you all. I love Vanessa Long. I am friends with Taylor Long. I'm friends with Edward Long. I'm friends with both of them, and Destiny Long. They're all my friends, and I know them personally, and I love you guys, and I love Vanessa Long. But I just hope that somebody has checked on her since Bishop Long has died. And I hope that they don't remove the legacy and let people forget about the man, Bishop Eddie Long, who built this church and who created all of this. It is him who did this. I hope nobody I did not want to hold this topic to now, because this topic is it doesn't go with my next section. I just don't feel like it goes with my next section. This went with the zoo stories. What I'm about to say went with the zoo stories and not with this. I don't even know why I waited this long to put this on here. Oh, it's because Larry Reed just messaged me and I totally forgot, actually. See, my mind's so bad. Yeah, Larry Reed just messaged me about it and I remembered. Hold on, give me 1 minute. Wow, so the thing that Larry Reed was messaging me about is, sorry for the wait. So I was watching, I typically do church service from home because I'm up here in New York. I've been up here in New York for a pretty long time now, about 6 or 7 years, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 5 or 6. And I didn't plan to stay up here this long. I literally was supposed to be up here for a couple years and leave. And things changed and did not go the way as planned. So being up here, I typically watch my church services in Atlanta because that's just what I'm used to. I'm used to Southern preachers like Bishop Eddie Long, Juanita Bynum, T.D. Jakes. I don't really listen to T.D. Jakes, but Juanita Bynum I listen to faithfully. William Murphy I listen to faithfully because he comes from New Birth, and I already explained that before. But T.D. Jakes recently was at New Birth, which he hasn't been at New Birth in a long time, for 12 years. And like I told you guys before, I grew up basically in New Birth. I know New Birth like the back of my hands. After Bishop Long died, of course, they did an election, and the elected preacher and the head of the church is Jamal H. Bryant, or Jamal something Bryant. So Dr. Jamal Bryant had T.D. Jakes there recently, and Juanita Bynum as well. Juanita Bynum has not been there in a very long time. Juanita Bynum was actually there recently as well, who I love so much, Prophetess, and make sure I put her handle on there the right way, Prophetess Juanita Bynum. But T.D. Jakes has not been there since Bishop Long was alive, and that was, I think, about 12 or 13 years ago. His last time he was at New Birth, and he was a big part of New Birth coming into fruition. He was a big part of Bishop Long calling him, asking him questions, advice, and he was Bishop Long's father.
I wanted to pause and thank God for the life, for the legacy, and for the legend of God's Renaissance man in the 21st century. Bishop T.D. Jakes is in this room today. Bishop, you have inspired us to transcend church and to do business. Help me thank God for Bishop Jakes. I brought Bishop Jakes here on tonight because Sir Walter Raleigh said that we can see further when we stand on the shoulders of giants. I stand on this pulpit tonight, not because of me, but I want to pause and thank God for the life and for the memory of Bishop Eddie Long, who built this church. Come on, let's thank God for him. Bishop Jakes was very influential into the life of our bishop, our late apostle. When Bishop Long found this parcel of land, the very first call he made was to Bishop T.D. Jakes. When it is that God was elevating Bishop Long to become a bishop, the man who preached over him and consecrated him was Bishop T.D. Jakes. And one of the things that Bishop Long wanted was his father in ministry to come back to this place. And so I wanted to say, Bishop, welcome home. Thank you for who you were to our bishop. Thank you for who you were to this church. And thank you for who you are to the body of Christ. I wouldn't be where it is that I am on today if Bishop Jakes had not made an investment in me. I was 28 years of age, and Bishop Jakes invited me to preach at Megafest. And a month after Megafest, every other day, Bishop Jakes was playing on television, I Hope You Fail. And from that moment, it catapulted me to be where it is that I am today. So many black people have amnesia, and you forget the people that helped you in order for you to get to where you are. But I wanted to publicly thank God for Bishop T.D. Jakes, for who he is, for his life, for his legacy, and for his deposit in the earth. There is a liability within our community that many times we don't celebrate our leaders until after they're dead. That when they die, we want to name streets after them. But while they're alive, we run their name through the street. But I wanted Bishop Jakes to know that Atlanta celebrates him. And we wanted him to know in the full breadth of who he is, that we are grateful that God's hand is on his life. Our music ministry.
And I love that they acknowledge Bishop Long. I love that they acknowledge Bishop Long, because I always say that I don't want people to forget about Bishop Long, and I don't want his legacy to be forgotten. He built this church. He did a lot. He did a lot for Atlanta, and I never want him to be forgotten. I just don't. Although I've had my issues with Bishop Long, and that I've never talked about ever. I've never talked about it. Only to my mom, and of course my partner knows. But I've had some issue with Bishop Long in the past before that really hurt me and broke me, that I've never talked about. And in due time, I will talk about it. One day I'll talk about it. But regardless, I have this place in my heart. It's as if a father who hurt their child, but they still love their father. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you hurt me, but you my father and I love you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of New Birthians feel that way. Not being physically touched, not being verbally abused or anything by Bishop Long, but just the allegations alone caused a lot of people to just feel like, I want to reject my father, but that's my father and I love my father. That's why his funeral was so packed out, but T.D. Jakes was there on Good Friday, the Friday before Easter. And he hadn't been there in a long time. But in the audience, I watched the entire service. Bishop T.D. Jakes had me in here boo-hooing, crying like, oh, yada-da-boo, yada-da-boo. But I watched the whole service, and at the end of the service, they do the altar call where they ask the people to come down and join and become a member of the church, blah, 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 blah. And when they pan across Paris, one of the accusers of Bishop Eddie Long. The main accuser of Bishop Eddie Long, which was kind of a shocker that he would be in new birth. After I can almost guarantee there was a restraining order, maybe not, but I can almost guarantee there was a restraining order. And this boy name is Paris. I forgot his first name, but take a look at this.
Bishop T.D. Jakes at New Birth doing an altar call on Good Friday, 2022 Good Friday. He hasn't been there like 10 or 12 years. He hasn't been in New Birth since Bishop Long was living.
I want to pray for
And of course, this is Jamal Bryant's church now, no longer Bishop Long, although he built the church. It's Jamal Bryant's church. But look at who's in the building. Look at the last person you would expect to be there.
You have turned into somebody that you're not even proud of, but you're really trying to protect that little girl down in you who got her heart broken, and God wants to restore you and renew you. Come to this altar tonight and give your life to Christ.
Orange shirt.
Y'all ought to clap better than that.
Orange
Heaven
shirt
is
right
rejoicing
there.
better than that.
Bald head, orange shirt.
What can wash
Right there.
away
That's Paris,
my sin?
one of Bishop Long's accusers.
Nothing but the blood.
The main accuser, the head accuser, the top accuser,
They say, what
who accused
can
Bishop Long
be
of, you know, the whole sex scandal, molestation, or whatever it was. He's the one that sued Bishop Long because he spoke about it, and he got caught in Florida with some drugs on him or something like that, allegedly. But I do remember those stories. That is Paris, though. That's Paris. I'm just shocked that he's at New Birth. I just don't understand.
Because Bishop Eddie Long is speaking out.
We're talking about Jamal Paris telling a story of what he calls a love-hate relationship with a man he considered a father. Senior IT reporter Dale Russell first broke the story. He's here with his exclusive report. Dale?
Tom, following Bishop Long's sermon on Sunday, we caught a plane to Colorado, home to Jamal Paris, the oldest of all the accusers in the case. And in a parking lot late at night, he told us a story of love, anger, and a desire to protect other young men. This is a very serious allegation, but no one has heard from you. Jamal Paris didn't want to talk at first, but before he left us, he had plenty to say about Bishop Eddie Long.
If you look at us in our eyes and you hear the pain in our voice, we don't have a reason to lie to this man.
Jamal Paris is one of the 4 young men who have filed sexual misconduct lawsuits against Bishop Long, accusing him of using scripture and church money.
So yeah, that's Paris, and I wanted to put the Fox 5 news story there so you guys can, you know, put it all together for yourself. That was posted on my Instagram at the Urban BiNGE. Instagram is our Instagram page, our blog Instagram page. So yeah, it was just kind of like, and I'm just a curious mind wondering why was he at New Birth and what is his feelings today? What are your feelings today that you've returned to New Birth after Bishop Long's death? I wouldn't be surprised if he was there before Bishop Long's death.
Something's got to get in your spirit that disturbed you enough to say enough is enough. I've drawn my line. Enough is enough. I'm tired of being broke. Enough is enough. I'm tired of the government telling me when to speak, when not to speak, where to go, where. Enough is enough. It is revolution time. No. See, that's why y'all crazy folk have been called to walk with this crazy man. Because we were born for this. Now that's why other folk think you crazy and weird, but I was born to this. Which means when I leave here, this thing gonna be changed. I'm not talking about the sanctuary, I'm not talking about the church, but when I go into the heavenlies, this earth.
So in this video here, this is, if you can tell, I have tried to put the arrow on Paris, Jamal Paris, so that you guys can see him clearly. He was a faithful member as well of New Birth. I don't know who his mom was. Maybe I did, but don't quite remember. Can't put a face with his face, you know, a name with his face. But this is Jamal Paris at New Birth on several occasions. So I have 2 occasions here, though, where he was there, and one of these occasions I'm right down front. So the person with the red on is me down front in the first clip, and the second clip with Bishop Long with the blue suit on, more so royal blue suit on, is the second time I could find Jamal Paris at New Birth. So he was a faithful member. He was always down front, cheering Bishop on, cheering, always present. I remember seeing him go up the elevator all the time And I was like, dang, I wish I had a key to go up the elevator like him. Him and some of the other Longfellows who were considered Longfellows. So I just wanted to show you guys that this is Jamal Paris, or Paris Jamal, here at New Birth. My mom was a faithful member of New Birth, so I remember faces. I can point out so many faces around here. Even down front is RHOA. RHOA was a gospel rapper. His mom and dad got him into gospel rapping. He was also a faithful member, and you may know his mom's face from being the mediator in Love and Hip Hop, splitting up those fights in Love and Hip Hop, the producer who's always jumping in. That is RHOA Williams' mother. RHOA is also about to be on Black Ink, if he's not already on Black Ink. But I know I just seen recently a clip of him on Black Ink. So, yeah, I know New Birth very well, and the people at New Birth and the members at New Birth, I know them very well. Just show me a picture, I can probably point them out.
But I'm just curious to know, he would get saved, you know, at New Birth again. And what was in his heart? What was his feelings? It's not none of our business. You know, it's none of our business. I'm not entitled to know. I'm curious, and I'm just wondering, and I can give my opinion, and I can say what I want to say. I'm not offending anybody or anything by saying that I'm curious to know what is going on in his mind, in his body, in his soul. Body and soul. Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm wondering what's going on with him. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with Carry On? What's going on with Paris that he would be here at New Birth after Bishop Long's death? Here while TD Jakes is here, and William Murphy is here, and it's a packed house. I'm not understanding why he is here. Kind of feel like he definitely is noticed by security. He's definitely been noticed by the police. I'm pretty sure he is being watched. Ain't nobody finna do nothing wrong or out the way to him. When that man touching his face like that, I was like, listen, look, sir, you might not want to touch him in no type of soft, funny, loving, caring way. You might want to just put your hands by your side and tell him good job. Let a woman rub him or something. Cause listen. You know, no affection from no older men. You bring back memories. You know, if it was true. You know, Bishop Long, I think, settled out for like $25 million, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't that much. Don't get me wrong here. I don't know, and I'm not going to go look the shit up because I don't give a fuck that much to go look it up. But I will say I know that Bishop Long settled out because he didn't want this thing to keep going. So he said. But rest in peace to Bishop Eddie Long. I don't understand why Paris is there. Curious minds are wondering, I'm pretty sure, what are his thoughts and what are his feelings about this whole situation. Anyway, let's move on from Paris and that whole situation.
Oh, we got one here, baby.
Huh? Shrimp and chicken? Oh, wow. You stayed to the very end, I see. Well, since you're here, do me a favor. Hit those big words down there. Subscribe. You see that? Yeah. And if you liked the video or if you didn't like the video, hit that thumbs up. Also, hit that bell so you can be notified every time we go live or post a video. You don't want to miss our content. I'm telling you. You can also follow us on all social media platforms. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and a new one, BiNGE, at The Urban Binge, okay? You can also Google search our podcast. If you can't get enough of us, we're always posting on our podcast talking about interesting topics. Just search The Urban Binge Radio Podcast. And you can find us on several podcast platforms, i.e., iHeart, Spotify, and any podcast platform that you prefer. And after you're done with all of that, scroll down our channel, and I'm sure you'll find a lot more interesting content like this video. See you guys later. Let me finish getting dressed.